Hi, Chris Dawes here. I've stepped away from the commentary box for a change and I'm in front of the camera because this time I'm talking about my business, Open Doors Training. Founded by myself as a project of passion because I felt so lucky that I get paid to do the things I do now. Commentating, hosting awards, voiceover artist, TV, radio, podcasts, live shows, you name it, all of those things are an absolute privilege. Especially when I came from someone who was paralysed by fear when I had to present at university and when I first went into business after graduating. But thankfully, I got accused of making IT entertaining when I was in my sales and marketing role. I know, not that easy, but I'm proud of that one. And that's what really was the trigger, enabled me to carry on with all the different things I do now. I want to now help others open doors that they may not yet know exist. And you never will know exist unless you put yourself in a position where you can be heard. Whether that's in business, in public sector, in sport, all of it is the same. If you're silent, no one will know you exist and how good you are at things. You've got to put yourself in a position where you open those doors, at least so that you can knock on the doors and they know you are there. So that is what we do here at Open Doors Training. It's not about creating blueprints of presenters or media darlings or whatever it may be. It's about unlocking you. Instead of being the contained version of you, we want to get 110% of you. You probably exaggerate it by 10%. I'm sure I'm not like this when I'm at home on the sofa. The wife would kill me. But it is about still being you. And that is what we work on within all of our training. So come on over, opendoorstraining.co.uk. Let's have a conversation to see how we may be able to assist you going into, hopefully, a better year in 2021. Evening all, welcome to episode 45, it's Castle Combe TV. Oh, I tell you what, I just absolutely love seeing the circuit there. I can't wait to get there. Saw plenty of four-wheel stuff going on there. Tonight, it's all about the two-wheel brigade, and we saw plenty of them on there as well. Hope you're all well. Dilly, good evening, everybody. Got the gin. Look at that. I've even got a gin on the top as well. Let the evening be gin. The be gin at the bottom. But good evening, everybody. I hope you are well. It is all changed tonight because it's not Tom Davis, as I've changed your name to, not Tom Davis, because we've got our very own two-wheel expert. It's Rob. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, Chris.
You're all right,
we're
buddy?
still having a little bit of a technical issue with the sound at the moment, but I'm sure it'll get better as we go on. Thanks for having me on the show.
I know, it's good to see you, my friend. For anybody who is just seeing this, yeah, bless him. Rob's been like a swan out the back there with his feet going mad underneath because the internet's playing up. I think a number of people have had issues today with Windows choosing to do an update, but hopefully it will be all right for you, mate. So if we lose him on and off, you know what's happening with Rob. To be fair, Rob, we're used to that. When you're at the circuit, you suddenly disappear and come back again, don't you? So don't worry. We'll put up with it. We'll put up with it. Let's just quickly comments coming in thick and fast. Tim Perry, evening all. Hope everyone is well. Not too long until racing gets underway again. Dilly. Lee White, Davy Boy. Who's that? Who's Davy Boy? Evening all. Evening, Mike. Good to hear from you, my friend. Rob Jones is number one fan. Good evening, everyone, says Emma Strawford. Lynn Bates, good evening, Chris. Hello, Lynn. Good to hear from you. Oh, we got the camp softcore here as well. Stuart Tinker Taylor, hello to yourself and your good lady. Hope to meet you sometime at the circuit soon. Absolutely, 100%. Well, saying that, we got to get spectators back first, and then we got to get that we're allowed to interface with each other, haven't we? We're supposed to keep away from each other at the moment, but hopefully it will all work fairly soon. If we're doing two wheels, we had to do this. Winner's here as well. Evening, Sean. Good to hear from you, my friend. Ben Hayward says, yo. Nigel Forrest from up at Alton Park. Evening all. And Ben Hayward, looking trim, Mr. Rob. Good cycling skills there. Good cycling skills, but I'm guessing you still can't hear us, Mr. Jones. No, bless him, he's got. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put him back there because he's having all sorts of problems here at the minute. Rob, don't panic, mate. We'll get you ready. Get yourself ready when you can. He's having all sorts of issues back there. Bless him. It was working, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, and now I think we're back to wasn't. We'll get him back on in a minute. What we got? Can you hear us, Rob? Or we'll wait and see. Richard Llewellyn says, dash back from London to catch this. Good man. Thank you very much, sir. Good to hear from you. And hopefully we'll get my co-host sorted in a little bit. But let me bring on the guest. Great opportunity to bring on our guest. It's kind of like a double-edged sword that we're having this guest on, really, because some of you may have seen the show last week where we had Josh Smith on. A past 2013 Castle Combe GT champion, and he works for Bridgwater and Taunton College. And sadly, many of you will have heard it now, I'm sure, that we have had the fire that destroyed the building there. Certainly the motorsport division, which include his team as well, but it also destroyed, I'm sorry to say, the motorcycle department there as well. And this guy that we're going to get on now, he doesn't so much as work there directly. He's kind of got involved. He is a motorcycle racer with a difference. He's got one arm, and yet he still races motorbikes. I can't put it more blunt than that because I'm in awe of this guy. Absolutely amazing that he can do this. And he works with the college, that they work on his motorbike, and he helps with ideas of what can help other amputee riders as well. So really, really a very special guy with a great story to tell. I'm sure I've embarrassed you to hell there, but good evening, Chris. You all right, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yours is working, at least. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
Bless him.
He's not so stuttery this end.
No, it worked, didn't it, just before we went live, and it seems to have gone down again. So bless him. Yeah. Jeff Gendall, evening, and thank you as well to the Gendalls for the coast that they sent through, thanking me for support for last year. I just spoke what I found and was impressed. Just quickly going to try, because Mr. Jones has come back in again. Can you hear us this time, Rob? No, that's still not working. He's going to probably switch to his tablet in a minute. Our very own Emma Strawford, who is the resident, absolute massive fan of two-wheel racing. Emma Strawford says, good evening to you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
welcome. As I say, welcome. It's kind of a double-edged sword that we've got you on this really, hasn't it? And I guess, let's open up with the fire that has just destroyed the motorcycle wing, hasn't it?
Yeah, completely. I got pictures of it the other day, and it's just devastating. It's just, it's nothing left. So it's still hard to take in, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's Rob. We're certainly moving around and we can hear him, but I don't think he's able to hear us. We'll pop him there so that he can. He might be able to work in a little bit. He's muted his mic now, but he's. I don't know what it is. Hopefully, he'll just pop up onto the thing. Forgive me, guys, because I've obviously got to keep trying to get him in at these early stages. Sholto Down says, "Good evening to you."
Hey, all right, Sholto?
I guess that was you, Chris, rather than me, Chris. You could tell.
Yeah, he's one of the motorbike lecturer from the college.
Oh, okay. Who? I mean, he must be going through murder at the moment, then.
Yeah, well, his whole livelihood and everything has all been affected. It's just going to be hard for him to take it all on, because he's been building that up for a couple of years now, just for it all to go in one night.
And to the point, we hear the stories about Sholto's commitment to it is that I think he moved from where he was originally living to be able to do this at the college. And many a time his other people would be in like the gym opposite. I'm there to believe there's a gym directly opposite the building. And he would, they'd look over and it'd still be late at night and the lights were on and he's still working in there.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He does put 110% in for everything. He's such a nice guy, really nice guy.
And judging from if Josh's comments are anything to go by for the motorsport division, I bet Sholto's the same. Is that the sole focus is right? What can we do to get the students still learning what they need to learn and experiencing what they need to experience?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I mean, all their coursework, everything was all to do with the mechanics. And if there's nothing there to mechanic on, what can you really do apart from the theory? So there'll be no practical side, because what can you do? But they've been digging out blind, to be honest, and they've got quite a lot of stuff being donated and other things to get the students learning again. And it's amazing how generous the people have been about everything. Really, really impressive.
We've seen it a lot, and I mean, we say it's surprising, but on the other hand, it isn't, is it? When you can look at how we spend all year in the motorsport, and whether that's 2 or 4 wheels, it's such a close knit community, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. To be honest, I think that's why I like the paddock so much. It just reminds me of being back in battalion.
Of course, and we will go on to that. Is that Chris? I say started life in our story in the military, and we're gonna go into that in a second. So Sholto, I mean, if there is any links you want to suddenly share in the comments that can direct people to help, please put it. I will be able to see it, and like I did with that, I can put it up on the screen. So if there's anything that you feel, Sholto, that is useful, pop it in a comment like you did with that one, and I'll put it up on the screen. To see the support that everybody is giving to try and get things up and running. I know that, for example, Mike Cotton said, "Did we all go fund the college?" I know you did, Mike. Thank you very much for that. There was a few there, and it's still going. It's still ticking up. Albeit that I think that's the motorsport side of things that have got a GoFundMe. I don't know, Sholto, whether you have something there. But fingers crossed, keep those students going, because that's important. Now, we'll come on to your link with the college more directly in the correct chronological order, I think would make sense. We'll sort of work our way through. Just quickly, I'm going to try him again. Rob, can you hear us, mate? We can hear you, mate, but for some reason he's not able to hear us. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's so broken up. Stop and start. I'm just restarting my laptop to see if I can get it working on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I told you, mate. Go and kick them off Netflix. Go and kick them off Netflix.
No.
Right, he's still there, desperately trying to get it sorted. Relax, Rob. We'll get you back as soon as you're up there, and you can private chat in here when you come on. I think both of you should be able to see that there's private chat that we can send each other messages. So if you need to, Rob, do that within this dashboard as well. The funny thing is, Gerald Howell makes the comment with regards to Rob having problems. It says, at least we won't need the bleep machine tonight. That's very true. Taz Tracy, evening, guys. My first time seeing the show. Good luck, Chris Ganley, for the racing. So there you go. There's a fan, a Tasmanian devil. Welcome to Castle Combe TV. Took you 45 episodes to find us, Taz Tracy, but welcome. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and we'll have you back again. Jacob Bagg. Good evening, guys.
Yeah, with a picture of me in his profile picture as well.
Okay. I certainly could spot the motorbike there, so you could tell why he was watching this show. It probably goes a little bit ahead, so you don't need to go into too much detail, but probably a short answer to this. Ian Baldy says, are you in a position to race at Snetterton after the fire, Chris?
As long as the bike goes back together and we find all the bolts. Yeah, it should be. It looks like it's all in good hand. So, there's no reason why we can't be. It looks
When's
like
that?
It's the first bank holiday weekend in May. So is it the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd?
Something like that. That rings a bell. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, fingers crossed, mate. You got a bit of time. Let's get that one out. Mercury Motorcycle Training. Evening, all. Welcome, Chris.
Yeah,
just looking down. Is that? Oh no, it's Gordano Motorcycle Training. So they're your competition, mate.
Yeah. No, Gordano Motorcycle Training is who I train with.
No, that's the what I mean. You're Gordano, they're Mercury.
Yeah,
so
the
competition is saying good evening. Only joking. All in this. Yeah, all in it together. Roger Hick, hi from Jackie and I, Chris. Well done.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, cheers.
So, again, they're bringing the comments in. Right, let's go backwards. I mean, I cannot believe it that I love the opening sort of like comment I had in your story was the fact that you're 31 years old. And the reason why I say that is I find that staggering with the amount of information and experiences and all of that we had underneath that. Let me just quickly try. Can you hear us now, Rob? Is that any better, Rob? No, shaking his head.
Yeah, it's not a shake of the head.
That's the universal sign. We'll just take him back off camera again. Bless him.
Yeah.
Yes. So, only 31 years young, but so much experience. You spent 12 years in the army, albeit 2 of those in rehab because of a bike accident in 2014 that was nothing to do with being in the military.
Yeah, it's ironic, really. Yeah.
It just doesn't seem possible. And bearing in mind, people, is that this is a guy that's done 2 tours of Afghanistan, and yet it's on our roads that what we see with you today is it was caused there. Yeah,
it's very it's just ironic, really. It's go out and because I was in the rifles, I was infantry as well. Go out and do all of the weird and wonderful stuff, and then come home and wake up in hospital. So
wow, okay. But the rehab you got to do with the army, even though it was out on the normal roads.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised about that. I always thought that Headley Court was for people injured within operations or service. But when I got told in hospital that I was going to Headley Court, I genuinely didn't think. I thought they were just going to say goodbye and see you later. But it's any injury that's sustained within the military, they will go. You will always go to rehab at Headley Court or in-house rehab, which I honestly didn't realise. I was waiting for a goodbye.
No, it's nice. I mean, my wife's a physio in the MOD. She's over at Lynham these days, but she's been at like Hallavington and one of the other ones I can't remember now. And they do sort of like, make a key point that they do look after you guys, which is wonderful to hear. That's why I wanted to sort of touch on that story, that I do still think that it is good that there was still that looking after. So that was 2014. So you'd been 2008, 2009, and 2011 over in Afghanistan. 2014, we're not going into any details of the accident itself, other than to say, what was the outcome? What happened to you physically?
Well,
just going to pause you a second, 2 seconds. Just going to try. Rob, can you hear us, mate?
Yes, mate. We're on an iPhone now. It seems to be working on 4G.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You got enough data now.
So you'll have to excuse me wobbling about because I'm on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to prove it. Like, there he is.
Yeah, we are here at last, all the way from sunny Radstock.
Yeah, the Radstock rocket. His internet's not a rocket though, but he's back.
No, it's not. It's brand new as well. It's supposed to be fibre.
Oh, really? It's got a bed in, mate. That's what it is. It's got a bed in.
I reckon it is. Yeah. He's going to get hammering it in a minute.
Yeah. Bless you, mate. Well done. Nicely stayed calm, and you're welcome to the show. So,
and I never
just
swore.
well, not that we heard anyway. But just to catch you up, Rob, we've gone through the fact that Chris, to our sickening fact, is only 31 years old, despite how much we're going to cover that he's done already.
Yeah.
I say that because you and I will feel old. That's the problem. But 2 tours of Afghanistan, and yet accident in 2014. And he was just about to go into detail, so I'll hand back to you, Chris, that you're going to sort of let people know what physically happened.
It was actually, I only found out a few things to start off with. So when I woke up, my right arm was in a cast, and it was from my fingertips to my armpit, and it was up on a stand. And I remember trying to get it off the stand when I woke up, and it wouldn't come down. So I then tried to move my left arm and realized there wasn't anything there. And that was my introduction into, it's gone. Then over a period of time, I then started learning more and more about the injuries I had. So basically I ended up with a severe bleed to the front of my brain. I broke my back in 3 places. I ripped all the nerves out up in my shoulder. So even if I had an arm, I couldn't use it. Which is why I've got really limited movement in what I have left. It ripped my hand and my forearm off at the incident. I broke all my ribs down one side, popped lung. I've got nerve damage all down my left-hand side now. So half my core doesn't work. So it looks like a massive love handle out of one side, but it's not. It's my intestines.
Wow.
What else was it? So the result of the bleed to my brain was left me with scarring over my frontal lobe, which should have changed my personality. But then again, that just shows, well, I was infantry, so I didn't really use my brain too much anyway, so it didn't make that much. My whole right hand's been rebuilt, and my right arm from elbow down's been rebuilt. So basically,
that's a good one.
Yeah, this is my good arm.
Wow.
They had to bring back my middle finger, so all my fingers are the same lengths now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was just to keep my hand.
Wow, incredible. So, but your lower body got away with it.
Yeah, that didn't really get too much of a battering, I don't think.
Okay. No, fair enough. So from all of that, you then went, I know, bike racing. I mean, that's not a link that I would normally see. Let's not kid ourselves. That's just incredible. But we're going to go into the detail of what you fell in love, but you saw that as a target, I would hazard a guess, reading between the lines of what you said. It gave you a goal.
Yeah, I think the worst bit was when people told me that I couldn't do it. I think that was a big red flag, and me being the bull, I had to go for it. I think also it was the fact that I was going to race it for the army, and I was in a position where I was just about to start racing for the army, and all I wanted to do was wear the army leathers, but just never got a chance to do it. and basically everything to do with racing all came because I was in the army team, spannering for a lot of the races. And yeah, and after the accident, I knew the army was going to get taken away. And I basically lost all my life. I lost everything, and I had to try and work a way out of how to kind of start my life again. And motorbikes was one of the only other loves I really had. So it kind of just pushed me to give it a go. And even when I first got on the bike, it was 6 months and 2 weeks, I think, after my accident, I stripped and rebuilt one of my bikes just to see if I could do it with one arm. Yeah, and adapted it in the process and gave it a whirl. And I was expecting not to like it. Instead, it went the other way. So,
I mean, it's incredible. I'm just going to bring Rob in for a second because, I mean, Rob, we know obviously you're one of the instructors at the circuit and what have you. And was it last year that you added to that with the license to be able to instruct?
Yeah, what we mainly do is there's a team of us. There's 7 of us are ACU level 1 coaches, and one of our coaches, Neil Sutton, is a level 2 actually. But we're club coaches for NG road racing. So mainly we do license assessments with a little bit of coaching included in it, along with our track days. But last year I trained to do. To assess a disabled rider for his license, and to be honest, it's not an awful lot different because you're still looking for the same things on the track. But one of the things you look at is to make sure that the adaptions, they actually work, and you can still change gear properly, go on the brakes properly, and from that point of view, that's what we're looking at. The actual technical side of it is down to the scrutineers when you get to a race meeting and when they check over how it works and what have you. But we're just making sure that you can still do exactly the same as if you had all the controls in the normal places, basically.
And yeah, I bet that you have found already, and if now you've got the ability to get involved in that side more, is that you'll find it more. Listening to Chris and we've heard it from others, is that the drive from these guys is just
quite a few years ago now we did quite a bit of work with Talon Skills Piggins. I expect you know him, Chris, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he ran the bike experience at Castle Combe for a little while, but I'm quite proud to say there's 3 of us, myself, Ian Terry and Paul Haggett, the instructors. We were the first people to take him out on track, and I mean he's paralysed from the chest down, basically. And we took him out on track over the lunchtime of one of the track days. And he had these I don't know how you explain them, these outriggers that came down that weren't very successful. And we started off going around the track quite steady. And within no time, I thought, hang on a minute, I'm starting to push on here to keep up with him. Yeah. And we were going through Folly at 120 mile an hour, and these wheels on this outrigger were scraping on the ground, and we had to dive in front of him and slow him down,
Wow.
And he's gone on to do all sorts of things, and he does a lot of great work with the bike experience, which is obviously, people with disabilities who want to get back on riding bikes. And it's such a confidence builder for people, I think, who think they'll never, ever do it. I've actually seen someone in tears. They ride around the track and they come in and they're in tears because they never ever thought that they would be able to ride a bike again. So it's a great thing.
Yeah,
it is. And I mean, hence you got Tim Perry, one of our Mighty Orange Army. That's amazing to hear, Chris. Great inspiration. Roger Hicks says there's a reason this man is definitely going to the TT, and we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Although Boldy says, hello, Chris, from Ian, Maria, Kat, Jono, Andrew, and Claire. We all love you and your crayons. So you're obviously a dab hand at the colouring as well.
Yeah, Ian does the majority of my writing, pretty much. So I always say whenever I'm sending anything over, it's always, hit inbound the crayon, and then he's got to write it in Bic. So
I love it. I mean, we've just touched on there, though, Chris, going back to it, is that, it was a drive that you took. Although I know on your notes that you were humbled chatting to Danny Campion, who races an R1, with one arm and one leg, showed his adaptation. It was a motivation at your time, but at the same time made you feel humbled because you kind of went, well, that's even harder, and yet he's doing it. So I guess there's like this pressure at the same time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was kind of one of those. I saw some of his pictures, and I thought, well, mine's basically a scratch compared to yours, so I've got no excuse. And it was kind of like a bit of a kick at the same time to actually get moving, because seeing some of his stuff, it was just really inspirational to see it, and gave me a real drive. And it was, because if he can do it, there's no reason why I can't.
Do you ever take time though to actually stop and think, fine, you've done a comparison there and said yours is a scratch compared to his, but it's not, it really isn't. And do you ever take time and suddenly go, yeah, do you know what, I feel bloody good that I've done that, I feel really proud of myself? And do you realize that you will undoubtedly be an inspiration to others?
I always end up still kicking myself. I still need to get better, and I still need to get faster. And I think I do occasionally sit there and go, that was pretty impressive. But then if it's consecutively impressive, then I might be okay with myself. But I need to keep pushing and moving forwards. And that's why I think I'm probably the worst judgment for myself, because I know I can do better.
There's nothing wrong with that, and it's great to hear you've still got that drive. But it's really good to be able to act as that inspiration and motivation. Which I'm sure Rob there with being able to work with people, is that you must find it motivating, Rob, as well.
Yeah, it is. It's great to see. It's great to see people with that amount of drive. I mean, anyone who goes racing has got a lot of drive to do it. But with like Chris's case, it makes it even more, and to see him doing well is fantastic, and like I say, it's such an inspiration for other people, because it's such a life-changing thing, Chris. You could just give up at the end of the day, couldn't you, and think, well, I'll never do that sort of thing. But it just goes to show that with a drive, you can do anything, really.
Exactly, and actually, we talk about the drive to do anything, and I hope Chris won't mind that I'm going to slightly switch this for a second, and we'll come back to it, because Sholto's actually messaged again, and we talk about the drive to carry on. This is a man that has clearly got the drive to carry on. We opened at BTC, so Bridgwater and Taunton College, on the 8th of March to students as per government instructions in temporary accommodation. We now have 8 motorcycles generously donated by friends of BTC and Chris Ganley Racing. Jacob Bagg, watching, spent hours and hours of his own time as a student working on Chris's bike. Keep pushing, Chris. All the team are here tonight. Then that's great, because we will be moving on to that, because we're going to talk very soon about what the college do for Chris, as well as, we're talking about Chris being inspirational. But Sholto, thank you, sir, for your work there, because the students, I know it's the cliche, they're the future. It's vital that we get them learning. But my dad's commented as well. My dad's watching. So many of our ex-military personnel are heroes while serving, and in Civvy Street afterwards. It doesn't matter that the accident was in Civvy Street. It's still, military, then ex-military person. This guy is yet another outstanding member of society. Chris, you make me proud to be an ex-serviceman. You're an inspiration, because my dad was in the RAF as a Royal Engineer. And so he's always, feels very emotional about the military link, and because you've got to have gone through several challenges there, because you're almost institutionalized as well, and you've had to come out of that. You kind of touched on it, not just you wanted to race for the army, but you knew you were out, and that was the end of that. And yet you're going, but I'm about to go and take this limitation and show it's not a limitation. I mean, talk about a double whammy.
Yeah, it's I always wanted to be in the army. I never had any choice of doing anything else. Not any choice. I mean, I've never wanted to do anything else. It's just all I was just quite content with just being in the army. So yeah, after the accident and everything, I knew it was getting taken away, and I knew that there was nothing I could really do to stay in. So I didn't know what to do, which is another reason I think I pushed so hard on the bikes. and it's because I just had to keep something going, even through the recovery. I knew that one day I'll be out of the military, so I would need to have something there for me to keep moving forwards, really. It was a difficult time, really difficult time.
And if anybody's listening and thinking I'm being insensitive, and I hope you don't think this, Chris, is that what I'm trying to do is prove this point to people that you did. You grasped hold of this sport that we love, these machines that we love, and you use that as your target, and you've gone on to ride again, to race, to work with the students, all of that sort of stuff. And your intention, I'm going to steal the thunder, but we will go into it more detail when I get back on track, is that to actually help others with guidance on bike adaptations and what have you.
Yeah, I think even though there's a lot out there, it's still just finding the places to go. And and I mean, there's my adaptions are quite, well, they're just basically all bought off the shelf, so it's not anything special. It's just I don't know, a clutch bracket from here, and there we go, off you go. It's just knowing how to do it, and I mean, I haven't got much to offer the world anyway, so maybe some adaptions will help other people out as well.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short there. No, never, Rob. If your internet's not working, you know. By the way, just on that note, by the way, Emma Strawford said Ladstock is here, 50p in the meter, and Richard Llewellyn says Rob's got the same internet provider as me, no speed. But,
it's terrible.
Only joking. You carry on, sir.
No, actually, it's about the adaptions, Chris, because obviously nowadays we got auto blippers and quick shifters, so really, I take it you got the clutch and the front brake and the throttle. Obviously, is all on the right hand side.
Yeah.
You only actually need the clutch to pull away and stop, don't you, nowadays? Because you can use the changing down the auto blip covers that, and obviously the quick shifter changing up.
If I still had my injection, that would have been all right. But I'm now going on to a carb R6.
Oh, are you? Oh, right.
So, yeah. So that's out the window.
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment then.
Yeah, so I got to try and work out how to downshift with the blipping of the throttle rather than the actual bike doing it for me.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to ask is, from my experience, racing in places like Mallory Park, where you're going into Mallory Park hairpin from about 120, 130 mile an hour to 25 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Me with both arms, they feel like they're going to collapse when you're on the brakes going into there. I take it I see you've got a sort of a padded system on the tank. To take a lot of the weight off.
Yeah, so I don't put it through the bars. It's the hardest bit that I've got is obviously heavy braking and fast acceleration. It's going to make you turn
left, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where all your speed comes from. I mean, anyone can twist the throttle in a straight line, but then late brake and get the power on as early as possible. That is my weakness, which is why I've got a pad that sits on my tank.
Yeah.
So it basically acts as my left arm, but it means that I can't lean off the bike until I've taken the heavy braking.
Yeah.
So everything that I do, I end up having to lean off the bike after I start turning.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it's quite awkward.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think going into that hairpin at Mallory, it doesn't matter how many times you do it; it's always just as scary as the first time.
Yeah, it's mint though, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the hairpin, and I love the little button out. But yeah, going into it, you've always got the back skidding in, don't you?
That's right.
And just to make sure everybody knows, the key point here is that you don't you do it one-handed because you explain about all the damage that got done with nerves and everything. You've got no feeling up here, so you tried it to start with a prosthetic, and that was actually worse. Yeah,
I found with the prosthetic arm on, it's all right for the roads. So when I'm out riding around, just doing my instructing, the arm works fine. But the second that you need to start shifting around on the bike, it's all locked in one position. So even if you're going down the straights, you can't tuck in. And then even I think the only upside is when you're heavy braking, you can use yourself as a bit of a buffer. But but you can't lean off the bike, and it just locks me in that one place. So that's why I don't wear the prosthetic arm. It's actually probably more dangerous me wearing it on the circuit than it is not.
Which is just incredible. So at which point did you decide to make that even harder for yourself with what you just explained to Rob that you're going to be doing?
Sorry, I missed that a little bit. Sorry.
At what point and why?
Yeah.
When did you decide to make that change, to make it even harder for yourself, and why?
Well, actually, when I first got back on the bike, I did it with one arm straight off. Because again, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it. I didn't know if I was going to get on with it. So I basically tried it with the one arm to start off with, and then I ended up getting an R1 to go on the track with, and I was riding the R1 with no arm. And then because I got on so well with it, I got another bike for the roads, and that's when I took it down to Headley Court to get the arm put onto it. And I actually really struggled riding back from London to Bristol. Just even though most of it was motor, I actually found that it was quite hard trying to ride the bike with it. But since I've slowly got more and more used to it, it's not so bad. But again, I just didn't want to take that and try it on the track when I couldn't even get on with it to start off with on the roads.
But to change to what you were saying there, forgive me, this is why I got Rob on, because he's the knowledgeable one. But the fact that it's not got the auto blip and all of that thing, the carb, why? It just seems incredible that you got yourself settled into racing a bike, and you've just taken away one of the things that made it more possible.
And that's down to the Bridgwater fire.
Really?
Yeah. So my R1 was down obviously at the college when the fire happened, which is why I set up GoFundMe just to basically get a bike running again. And I had my R6 in the garage because it was my first super sport, and I've had it since, and I've always said I'd never get rid of it. But it's a necessary evil. I either basically knock it on the head until I've got enough money again, or do I just go for it and race an old carbed R6? So I thought I'd better just bite the bullet and go for it. And with the response I had from the GoFundMe, it's the bike's going to be all sorted, ready to go. I just now got to learn how to ride it again because it's been a few years since I've been on it.
That's you, Rob. You got out there, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and on that note is that John Weaver messaged saying, "Hi, Chris and Rob." So that's to me, Chris, to start with, because he says, "I don't know Chris Ganley that much, but when I heard on the news about the college and his bike, my heart sank just being in the sport." You feel when this happens. So it is what I was talking about earlier, such a tight-knit community. Chris is an inspiration to so many, and his drive puts us to shame when we make silly excuses when racing. So, that's the great thing. And that's what I was talking about earlier is exactly. Thanks, Rob. I mean, you'll know even better than me. I'm going to be in awe that he's, because I don't ride bikes. And I'm like, you guys are incredible.
No, don't worry. I've come out with some good excuses when I haven't gone very well, mate.
Really? Just, I mean, fair play. It really is impressive. I'm just sort of going back to the notes again. So what happened then was that we were touching on it really there, is that your bike was stored down with the motorcycle. They worked on it for you?
Yeah. They kept the bike up in service throughout the season. So each race it had its services done. Just a good clean over as well, especially if I've thrown it in some mud somewhere. I don't know. So they kept on top of that. They did all the painting. They just turned the whole thing into a project. And even Sholto said it's like his baby as well, because he absolutely loves what it stands for and what I'm doing with it. And it also gives the students an actual fully working bike as well. Like not only just a bike that goes on the roads, a bike that's actually getting fully raced. Yeah, so it was amazing what they were doing for me, and that's why the bike was down there.
Okay. And
Brilliant.
I got the impression that you occasionally worked with them, with your knowledge of what you needed it to do, basically, with the limitations.
Yeah, so it was going down and just talking them through how it felt, what was happening, and just saying how things could be tweaked slightly, and it was just basically just like having your own mechanics. It was awesome.
Like a factory rider.
Yeah.
The BTC factory rider.
Yeah.
But I mean, on top of that is that, and forgive me, you're going to need to fill in the gaps on this for me, but is that you were helping them, you were guiding them on something that was for, did I hear you mention something like a triple amputee or something like that?
Yeah, I had a bike set up with it had 2 throttles, 2 front brakes, 2 clutches, and electronic gear shifter from Clicktronic. So it meant that anyone with either right arm or left arm only could actually go on the bike. The only thing is that we were trying to sort out an undercarriage, basically like a stabilizer system. But I know they can be quite dear, very, very, very dear. So it was more looking at how we could make something that could, just something that would work a bit cheaper possibly. And we were going to start looking into it to try and bring some costs down.
That's right. I remember saying.
Sorry.
Go on, Rob.
Sorry, Chris. I did. It's a difficult thing because a lot of those outrigger type, they don't work very well, do they? Even the real expensive ones don't work really well, do they?
No, not from what I've seen or heard.
No.
So it's trying to work out something that could work better. I don't know, but we never got to the chance to actually look into it properly.
To be honest, from a racing point of view, if you take, Talon's situation, it's better for him to have 2 people holding him on the line. And all right, he's got a bit of a deficit because he's got to start from the back of the grid, but he still makes up for it, mine. But it's I think that is rather than have these mechanisms going up and down that are bound to fail in a race, aren't they?
I meant this more not for racing. I meant more as in
just for the road. Yeah,
because there is a lot of people out there who still want to be able to ride on the roads and things.
Yeah,
and that was what is more aimed at. I know with the racing, you are better off just getting the bike held, because if you're tipping it in that far over, you're not going to want something in the way.
No, we've seen that firsthand with Talon.
So I mean, and that's a key thing that I was picking up on Chris, is that you're trying. You've now got a knowledge. Fine, by the grace of God, you're not a triple amputee, but it's all relative, for goodness sake. So you've got the knowledge. You probably are able to relate and go, wow, okay, this is hard enough with one arm gone. Do you have any limit in your other arm? Anymore? I know you, because you did.
I know my dexterity's got better, but don't know. It does tire. I do feel it when the weather changes. So if it goes quite warm to cold and cold to hot, my arm just goes nuts, because I can feel all the metal work and everything, and I struggle to move my arm. And especially at some of the circuits, it can be quite interesting, like Anglesey with a nice wind coming through. So it does have its occasional limitations, but I try and manage it now. So I know if it starts getting painful, I know I either need to warm it or cool it. So, and then so it just depends on how I feel. Well, how it feels at the time.
Well, it's great that you're able to sort of take that sort of experience and not just make it a square peg, square hole. This is what I struggle with, therefore that's what I can do. You've kind of thought outside of that box, and you're trying to assist. You've got these young superstars. I can't even just say the young superstars of the future. They're the young superstars of right now, for goodness sake, at the college, because the knowledge they've got is amazing. I don't know whether this is maybe a student.
That's another student.
Oh, there we go. Thank you for the opportunity. And that's the kind of way that they will feel about it. And they are the not just the future, the here and now, but they need your guidance, your experience of what you've got, and not just, okay, if it was someone that's lost one arm, this is what we could do. You've thought a lot deeper than that, and not just for race, but for road as well. And that's and to try and make it more affordable to more people, basically.
Yeah, well, that's another reason why I became an instructor, or going through the instructor roles at the moment. I spoke with quite a few people around the country and helped them out getting on bikes, and there was quite a few people that struggled finding a school to take them on. And I was thinking about it, going, well, if that is the case, why didn't I teach them? Because at least then I can do it from their side as well. So if I do have a student that turns up with one arm missing and they can't do it, I can go, well, hang on a minute, watch this.
Yeah.
So, and I can hear it from their side. So, and I can explain how I do it to get around things. I mean, don't get me wrong, people will come up with a good idea. But sometimes it's just that little bit better hearing it from someone in a similar position.
Absolutely. No, God, don't worry about that. Keep the family more than welcome. It's almost like you knew this question was coming, actually, because you've answered that now. Taz Tracer said, how or what made you decide to go into being an instructor? And did you, how did you go about becoming an instructor? So you could probably answer that bit. How did you become an instructor?
So it was another thing that was down at the Bridgwater Taunton College. There's a couple of guys, T and K, down in Bridgwater. They asked if I wanted to get involved and just go down and just see the ropes to start off with. And eventually a gentleman called Paul Dickinson got in touch after I started training down there. And he was opening a new school up in Clevedon, which was on my doorstep. So I ended up obviously talking to T and K and said, yeah, sorry, I need to go to basically my doorstep, and been training ever since. So I got approached on both occasions to at least try and become an instructor.
And clearly, as I say, you kind of largely answered the first part of that, how and what made you decide to, is that, it's thinking back to everything that you've done, is that you had it as the only word I can think of to use, because it makes sense, is your crutch, your beacon, your goal, and everything like that. Not just to race, but to actually get out on the road as well. You'd fallen in love with bikes, which I know Rob will definitely relate to in particular. Yeah. And you therefore can see that as being a beacon for others, but you've seen not just, I get the impression it's not just the limitations or the obstacles that you felt. And I don't just mean physically, I meant by, you say about someone being able to instruct you, it was difficult to find it, but that therefore the emotional obstacles as well, to actually go and do it instead of feeling like you couldn't and shouldn't.
Yeah, well, again, it was just one of those things. I mean, bikes have been there for so many years with me now. And it helped my recovery. It helped me get my own peace of mind. And don't get me wrong, it's obviously come with its negativity as well. But then I think that comes with everything. So I basically saw how much it helped me. I've been really struggling over winter, especially with this pandemic and everything else, because all I want to do is get back on the bike and see how fast I can chuck it around corners again. And it's just my drive of trying to keep moving forwards. And I know how much it means to me that if I can give that to other people as well. I mean, they don't even need to be a disabled student. It can be anyone. it's giving that freedom to someone else, knowing full well that they can go and enjoy what I love that much and take it on the roads and be safe. It's just a massive drive, and for me, it's absolutely incredible.
Well, I think that it's a key time to be doing it, isn't it? Because there's a very loud voice and a big movement of suddenly saying, whoa, why should let's use the generic phrase, why should disabled people be missing out on so much? Not, whether that's in sport, whether it's in everyday life. And it's an ideal time to kind of go, happy days. We've now got the ear of people and people that can make a difference. Let's take it. And you've grabbed it by the horns there, basically.
Yeah, I just want to see what I can do. I mean, I know I'll never clap again, but it doesn't mean I can't do something else. I mean, there are obviously going to be limitations here and there, but I'm still trying to find out where my limit is. And I mean, I've done rock climbing. I did a bit before the accident, but then I've gone off and done some rock climbing. I mean, I'm used to 3 points of contact, but I am 3 points of contact, so it was a little bit confusing to start off with. But I managed to go off and do an overhang, which I didn't even think was possible. And I keep finding these things. And it's like, I mean, I would prefer and go and race my bike than butter some bread. I mean, it's actually easier. But I choose to look at things as a challenge now. So instead of being, oh, sorry for me, and I this and that, and I could have done it like this. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. It's like looking at it and going, well, how can I do that? And I've done that with everything, and I don't know. It's just see every day as a challenge rather than a negative, really.
Yeah, and I can't fault that at all. It's just absolutely amazing to hear. I've put a comment so that it's appeared on everybody, whether you're watching it on YouTube or any of the Facebook outlets that it's going out on, whether that's the circuit, the racing club, or my media. And up on the screen there is go and follow facebook.com/Ganley Racing, which is obviously Chris Ganley. Incidentally, by the way, just to make sure that we remember, I know that Baldy was saying about make sure you mention the team. Have you yet?
Not yet. No, I haven't. So
do it. Get yourself out of trouble. Do it.
Yeah. So John O'Cat. Well, I tell you what, the team's getting bigger all the time. Lucy, Ian. I'm going to miss people out now. I'm put on the spot. Andy and Claire Dyke. Yeah, it's just the team that come out and help me all the time. I really. Is
that from the college?
No, this is some old friends from quite a few years back. Jono's a bike mechanic up north. And he just comes to the circuit, loves being there, and I've encouraged him to take up the CB 500 racing for next year. So he's now going to be joining me in my gazebo.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Mary Ward says, really inspiring story. Tim Perry, it is about the positives and finding a way to achieve what you want to get to. Always look for the positives, agree. Question from Adam Loveridge, another one of your students. Who do you see doing well in the next season?
From my point of view, or from...
Not sure. Maybe is there anybody racing wise that you know, or is it at the moment the focus is that you're not really sure who's going to be racing this year?
If I'm honest, I'm not sure who's going to be there. There's people talking about they're not going to risk doing it this year because they're going to fund more next year, and it's kind of a lot of curveballs going on at the moment. So I'm not sure.
I wasn't sure if one of your students had an inside track that there was another, physically challenged person that was going to be racing that you'd got your eye on or anything like that.
No, not at this point in time.
It's been one of those years that I haven't got a clue. Last year, as good as didn't happen, did it? Incidentally, by the way, before I move on to one sort of almost semi-last bit to some extent, is that I need to remember this because I was asked by Tom Davis, who has a rest this evening. He has said if there are any people of the four-wheel brigade that are watching, I know that a lot of you want to test before the Easter Monday race meet. I need to let you know that Tom is trying to make some room on the 31st of March, the track day on the 31st, which I believe is actually not a silence day. Some of you may have been led to believe it was a silence day for that track day. I think it's been tweaked because of how it's going to be used. So have a chat with them. And also test days. Can people email info@castlecombecircuit.co.uk? So that's info@castlecombecircuit.co.uk with your interest to get out testing your car, in effect, ahead of the Bank Holiday Monday race meet. Can't fulfill everyone, but there is a little bit of space on the 31st. So get in quick, drop an email and see. So that's the, as Emma Strawford calls it, the parish notices. There you go. You've been got out of jail. ChrisGanleyRacing.com. Ian Boldy says as well. Yeah, so please do go and have a look at that one. I love this from Sholto. Not disabled, differently abled.
Yes. I agree with
I like that.
What angle I'm going for that day.
Absolutely. Although I loved the well, I say loved. I was bemused by a story that you even turned around and said, because you face up to it and you said you're armless, and someone had a go at you for saying that, and it's like, hold up, I'm the one that's armless and I'm saying it, but they had a go at you for it, and it's like, really?
Yeah. I even said to him, this is my way of getting over it. So Absolutely. Why are you telling me that I can't say it?
Well, it's like when you turned around and said about your other arm and you were talking about that, it suddenly brought to mind the sort of like the wisecrack about you won't be able to play piano for at least 6 months, and you go, wow, I couldn't beforehand, so that'll be good.
I'm still thinking of bringing the drums back down and then being the new Def Leppard. But
yeah, absolutely. made a living from it. Ian Alsam, hello, Chris. Looking good, mate. Hopefully see you this season, mate.
Yeah, he's had a few hard times over the last year or so now. He was always at all the races to come and see me. But yeah, he had medical issues over the last year, and I haven't seen him for a long time. So
wow, fingers crossed.
Nice to see him again. Yeah,
that would be nice.
Can I
touch on? Yeah, go on, Rob. No, go on, mate.
All I was going to say, I'm backtracking a little bit, but I think going back to when you did your ACU license assessment, I don't know who did it. Was it Francis Williamson by any chance?
I can't remember, if I'm honest.
But I think now, just a question for you. I think now that I think there's a better process for assessing people like yourself now than there was. I know when Talon first went for his race license, there was a lot of hoo-ha, and they would only let him do hill climb or a twisty sprint. But now they've actually put people in place, a bit like myself. But I know Francis Williamson is one of the main ones who can actually assess it now and get your license a bit more quicker in a way.
Okay.
A bit more of a better system.
Yeah. See, I can't even remember the ACU, the going through the ACU, to be honest. Was it 5 years ago now? So
no, it might not. I think it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in place then. Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah, but no, I think there is a better process now. I'm not just saying that, but because I'm sort of one of the assessors. But I think at one time, dare I say, it was a little bit negative and a lot of hurdles to cross. Now I think there's a more straightforward path into racing.
Yeah,
I think it's because there's a lot more understanding, isn't it? And like I said,
that's right.
There's
I think that's
the big ear as well of going, no, this should not be stopping people.
That's right.
It's probably been doing it for a little bit longer on the four wheels, enabling and encouraging and facilitating. And it sounds like two wheels is doing a cracking job of catching up again.
Yeah.
Although, Chris, don't say you can't remember doing your ACU, because you're supposed to remember everything you did in it, mate.
I do know that if the yellow flag comes out, just don't overthink anyone.
That's fine. Guy Burton says, because he responded, so first of all, it was Sholto saying not disabled, differently abled. And Guy then said, indeed. And then he turned around and said, my son's disabled, but it's the new cool. So I say unabled, and he's a little start. I don't know whether that's a spelling mistake or what. He's 13 and 24/7 and just started holding on to the bars on my quad. That's the future racer right there, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah. He'll be coming past me soon.
Yeah, that sounds definitely. That's a future racer right there. The sad part that I was then going to sort of like bring us to is that, you know, we've been touching on that fire and everything, and we've been touching on the fact that you lost the bike, you lost all your kit, everything was stored there by the sounds of it, and the whole lot went, and you had to start again.
Yeah, it was yeah, it's just hard to obviously comprehend. I mean, it was arson as well, so someone's actually gone out their way to do it. I think
because Josh was making a point. Is like, if it was theft, you kind of go, well, they need money for something or whatever. Yeah, but it wasn't even that. They didn't get anything.
Yeah, then not only that, everyone else lost everything else. It's just, I don't know. It's just very bizarre, very bizarre. I just don't get how people's mindsets can work in that way.
And it's a college, for crying out loud, with kids learning the industry, let alone, you know, what you've lost, and Josh last week with himself and his customers losing their prize racing gear and machinery. It's the place where kids are learning. And I say kids, sorry, that's really insulting. Apologies. I should have a better word than that. But we know what I mean. The students are learning that field. Yeah. Let's not go there. We're not going to be able to make sense of it. Let's not. But the reason why I've still talked about it is that to make sure people understand how messed up this was, and if there's anything that anybody can do to help at the college, the Bridgwater and Taunton College, BTC for short, you know, please do. And it's not, you know, we've talked about GoFundMe pages, and certainly the motorsport wing have got a GoFundMe page. You know, Sholto was making comments about the fact that it's actually donating things for the students to work on, and not even donating as in giving them away. It's like going, well, you know, I've got my bike, and actually I kind of just mess about with it myself a little bit, but it would be really good. And it actually is good to have them having something to get their hands dirty with.
Yeah, by anything to get their hand just involved on. Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's well, we've had a pandemic where they haven't been allowed to turn up to school. They haven't been able to get in and work on all these bikes or anything else. And then all of a sudden, as they're going back to school, bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and then it was all taken away. And they now have nothing to work on. Well, apart from they've had obviously these donations over the last few weeks. But these students are meant to be going back to school, and they haven't got anything. Well, it's starting to come together, but it's still
not got the premises to do it either. So that's a big challenge. And apologies, by the way, Adam Loveridge has corrected me and said kids now. So I realised that as I was saying it. Sorry, Adam. It was kind of like a habitual thing to say, and a degree of not knowing. Watching it gain places and after having hands-on is special. So that's Adam speaking from experience of like working on your bike is to sort of watch it gain the places in the race is a big deal. So they're not just working on something in a workshop, they then get to see the results of their work
afterwards. It was awesome because just being able to go back, it's nice for them to actually see what their work has done. It's quite it was interesting, although you've just disappeared.
He's gone.
Sorry, no. Sorry, it's just I was still here. It was just my daughter just said goodnight to me, so I just quickly popped off camera.
I thought you had my trouble, Chris.
No. I put 50p in the meter before I got going. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the college trying to get things up. They've got there. You had the GoFundMe page that bless you as well. People might not know. They might go, why aren't I putting that up? because Chris has closed it, you were blown away by the support you got, and you've gone, well, against advice you were getting, people saying, no, leave it open. You've gone, no, we don't need it. By the way, don't get me wrong, this isn't suddenly like crazy amounts of money. It was that Chris just kind of went, well, that gives me what I need to get racing again. And you've gone, closed, stop, thank you.
Well, that's what it was designed to do, was just to get me racing again. I mean, I could leave it open and then just keep getting more money, I suppose, but then there's nothing that I get out of it, really. The generosity of everyone and the way that it's all worked, I can't ask for more. It's amazing, it really is. I genuinely can't ask for any more than what was given.
So you've got you're now going with did you say the R6 that you're going to be racing?
Yeah.
And you've got to learn to ride that without the auto bleed and everything else like that. So that's got to get race prepared. Go on, Rob.
Are you doing? Is it a pre-injection class you're doing?
Yeah, I'll be Golden Era Super Sport.
Oh, axe murderers.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, you mainly race with Thundersport, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. That's right. Go near a super bikes. Go near a super sport. Yeah, some very good racing there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've already let them know that I'm going to be there, so just watch out for the roadblock.
I'm sure it won't be. You should come and race at the Grand National at Castle Combe at the end in September.
Not last year, the year before.
Yeah.
It was good fun. I think I'd have scared the living daylights out of myself, to be honest, on most of the races. Going down into quarry is always interesting.
It is. Very. I only lasted about 2 laps in that race and I blew it up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I expect my sponsor, I got his shirt on tonight. I expect he's watching. And, probably sticking pins in me or something for what I did, but yeah.
Well, and of course, last year, Rob, you weren't on track. You were up in the commentary box.
I was, yes, yeah. That was a completely different role for me this year, to be in the commentary. I take my hat off to you boys, because the first lap of the Bandit Challenge is something else. Trying to work out who's in front on the first lap, absolute lunacy.
But that's why it's so much fun to commentate on, isn't it? Because you don't try to make it up. You're kind of going, I don't know.
It's the first lap, Chris, because all you've got is the grid positions. So you've got to wing it a bit, haven't you? I shouldn't say this online today. You've got to wing it a bit, and hope you've said the right person. But
just guess it. It's fine.
The Bandit Challenge, you've got 40 bikes going into the first chicane, and it's just absolute madness. So great fun.
What you got to learn to do, Rob, you see, is that you learn to pad with saying things at a steady pace whilst your eyes are desperately looking and trying to take it in, so that you've been padding, and then suddenly you kind of go, oh, I know who's in the lead now, and then you kind of go, so it is such and such, but you've been getting excited about the mayhem. See, that's the little trick. Buy yourself some time.
But no, it's great fun. I really enjoyed it, actually. It's fantastic. And one of the things about it is you watch the racing so close, more so than just as a spectator, if you get what I mean, because you have to watch it really close, and you see little battles going on that you don't normally notice further down the field in that.
Well, this is why we often get, we're the commentators are the one, if, like, for example, when we're doing the car meets, is that our local championships have driver of the day, and it's us commentators that nominate the driver of each championship, the driver of each day, and everything. And that's because they've kind of realized that, as you say there, is that we are having to, by nature,
you watch it so close,
everything. So they're kind of going, well, you're the one that's going to know. And equally, you're seeing these battles, you're seeing these subplots, that I there make a key point of trying to bring those subplots and stories to life, because you're suddenly going, wow, I'm watching that. And people might not realize what that could actually mean. You know, there's a bit more history behind it. Yeah, and that's why it's great fun. Absolutely.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
you had it hard though, because you had to literally rock up and do it. You didn't have all the, a couple of days to prepare for it or anything.
I thought Martin, Bennett, and Tom were taking the mick because they just come up to me and said, "How do you fancy commentating tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, all right, yeah, thanks, yeah." I thought it was just a joke. And Martin said to me, "What's the key thing of being a commentator?" I said, "Not to swear." He said, "You're on."
Yeah, that's true. That is true, because they phoned me as well, and I'm like, I couldn't do it because I can't remember where I was, but of course I'm commentating somewhere every weekend normally, and and I was like, no, I can't do it. And I think I suggested you as well as them. So they said, yeah, we were thinking of Rob, but it was down to whether the bleep machine was working or not for you, mate.
Yeah,
you got your own dubbing machine, though, haven't you, mate? You know, they're being unfair to you. It's all good fun. Well, listen, I think that, is there anything else that you want to ask Rob that I haven't?
No, I think we got that. I mean, I'm very sorry about the start of my internet and one thing and another, but
sorry, Grandad.
I know, but no, it's I've got every for what you're doing, Chris. I mean, it's great to see, and I hope you really do well. I see on your website you did win I see you've had a couple of trophies, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had a couple of podiums. So
yeah, so keep it going, mate. And come and do a track day with us.
Yeah, I'm going to need as much practice as I can get this year, so I'll be over probably quite a bit.
Yeah. Are you listening, Emma Strawford?
Yeah. Help me.
No,
Ganley needs to come to the circuit. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm so sorry that obviously Sholto, thank you for all of the work you're doing for the student Sholto. Thank you for everybody that has supported the college. Thank you to everybody that supported Chris as well. So we got a bike that you can race. You're going to have to get your all of your leathers and all of that sort of stuff so that you're going to be back up. Yeah. Sounds promising, and please acknowledge and use it, Chris, is that one of the biggest things, and I'm sure Rob's picked up the same from this interview, I know that our spectators have, is that I'm going to put this up because it's exactly what I was going to say, an inspiration.
Yeah.
And I think you're more of an inspiration than you realize.
Yeah.
It's not about having the worst story or the worst situation. It's all relative. I've always lived by this phrase. Someone there's two people and someone's struggling and the other one turns to the other one and says, what makes your problems worse than anyone else's? It's like, well, because they're the ones that I'm experiencing. It's not about the fact that we're trying to play top trumps with each other. It is about, I'm in my situation facing what is a unique challenge for me, and I've got to find a way to do it. And not only am I going to do it, but your experience is that you're then taking that to people to, help them take more. Mine's a little one compared to yours, but I suffer from anxiety. And yet I commentate, certainly one of my meets, I've got probably about 30,000 people there. I present IT in front of big rooms full of people. I host this show, for goodness sake. And I train people to do the same because I've gone through this challenge. And you try to give something back, don't you? And it, mine's tiny compared to, the physical challenges that you've got, but it's all relative. So grab it, Chris, and please, we're honoured. We're honoured to hear the stuff that you're doing, mate, and appreciate it, and have massive pride in what you're doing.
Yeah,
no, thank you very much.
I agree with that.
For inviting me on the show and everything. So, yeah, no, thank you.
Just quickly put up as well. Kat Bennett says, "Here, Christoph, all the Arm One Army are extremely proud of everything you're achieving. We all loves ya and can't wait for us to all get back to it. Kiss, kiss, kiss."
In fact, that was pretty much most of the team there as well that I called out earlier.
Good. Emma Strawford confirms, yes, I'm listening.
Robert, she's being serious when she calls me Robert.
Oh, dear me. And Motorcycle Training say, good luck and here's to the TT. Just picking up on that, actually. Is that a target then, is it?
It goes back to another one before the accident. So basically, where I was spannering for a few of the Army riders, they went out to the Max TP and it was the year that I saw Chris Mitchell going round, and Chris Mitchell was the first ever one-armed person to make it around the mountain course, and he did it on an SV 650. And I didn't really pay that as much attention as I should have, because I didn't realise I was going to be in the same position. And after watching my mates going around at the Manx, I just thought, you know what, if I'm going to start road racing, this is where I want to end up, and I want to go to basically if I can, turn up to as much road races as I can, and potentially, if I can, make it to the Adamant TT. And I mean, if Chris Mitchell can make it to the Manx, there's no reason why you can't go that little bit further. And again, this is me trying to find out where my limitations are, and at the moment I haven't found one. And it's a quote that I swear by: it's nothing is impossible, you just haven't figured it out. And this is my impossible task that I'm just trying to figure out as I go along.
Absolutely amazing, and I'm sure everybody watching this is sort of like just in awe of that. Sad news, of course, this week was that the Isle of Man Classic TT and the Manx Grand Prix have both been cancelled this year, haven't they? Which is not surprising, I guess, sadly. Although saying that, I guess it was probably borderline, wasn't it? 22nd of August until 3rd of September, so probably was borderline.
I think the islands, it's been COVID-free for a while, hasn't it? And they're just playing it very, very safe now, aren't they?
I think I did see something about a few cases have started appearing again.
Oh, have it?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure with that, so I wouldn't quote me on it. But I think
they're not opening their borders fully until September. So yeah, it was just bad timing. It is what it is, you know. Crikey, in the grand scheme of things, I think we're all punch drunk from this mayhem at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. But Chris, keep up the great work. Richard Llewellyn says, great story. Looking forward to the next chapter. Emma Strawford, amazing story. Good luck for the coming season. And, you know, everybody is saying the same thing. Tim Perry says, it's been amazing to hear your efforts and keep it up. Wishing you all the best for you and the college to get things all back up and running. Yeah. And that was the key thing of this is that, and I know, Chris, when we spoke, is that I said that I want to take the angle of, you know, the amazing things that you've done, with it being an excuse to be talking about the college, because we want to push the plight of the college, the struggles that the college are in. And I know you were very passionate about that as well. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, again, I lost a couple of bikes, but at the same time, it's just the amount of people that have helped me out the way to get where I am now. It wasn't possible if it wasn't for everyone that's helped me out so far. Bridgwater Taunton College is one of them. They've been, in fact, the first season that they took the bike on, I went and got the best looking bike for the season after they took it on. So straight away, they were just staying on top of everything for me. And it's gutting what's happened to them, because obviously the lecturers, it's their livelihoods. The students, they're going for their qualifications. Just any help that can help them out, it would be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Well, Guy Burton says, got to put my son to bed now. Military exercise, putting his son to bed, I can imagine. Good luck. Great listening. And if I can help regarding two strokes, please say. Get in contact with the guys if there's anything, you know, any help at all. Don't underestimate. You know, at the end of the day, if you're able to make offers to people, then, you know, the worst they're going to say is thanks, but no thanks. You know, it is what it is. Chris, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure. Wonderfully articulated as well, and everything that you've been through. Inspirational. You know, keep it up, and keep up all the work, everybody at the college, and let's hope we can do it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris, and all the best for the future. And hopefully, I'll see you on the track at some time.
Yeah, hopefully. As long
Don't
as
hit me off, mine, all right?
Yeah. I'll watch your line.
Right, Chris, I'm going to put you back in the green room. Feel free to chill out a bit, but don't disappear just yet, because once we've gone off air, we'll just have a quick wrap up and what have you. But feel free to go and grab a drink, go loo, whatever you want to do. But for now, Chris Ganley, thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Wow, Rob.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Yeah.
what an absolute inspiration, eh?
Really is, yeah. I'm not surprised. I thought it would be when I read up on him before the show. It is such an inspiration, and it's such a sad thing with this college, mate. I mean, that is.
I mean,
words don't
I didn't
explain it,
even want to. I was there sort of torn because you don't want to turn. People are at home sort of hearing me talking about the fact that someone just did it for no material gain,
apparent reason, yeah.
But you've got to make those points for making, to strike the nerve for people to go, look, this is why we got to help, as people get going. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for adding your knowledge and everything. We got 2 bike race meets at Combe this year.
Yeah,
haven't we?
I was going to ask you, Chris, could I just do a couple of plugs at the end of
Please
the show?
do. Please do, mate.
Do it at the start, but we didn't.
It's like the Rob Jones end of show, isn't it?
We got 16 or 17 track days this year, all being well, providing the roadmap goes, out of lockdown, goes according to plan. Emma confirmed that, but I think it's 16 or 17 track days we got this year.
Wow.
We also got a couple of track days with classic bike track days. And of course, we got the very popular Mercury Training Skills School, which is proving to be very popular, which is basically it's a training course around what you want. So if it's an introduction to track riding, it covers that. If it's improving your road skills because you haven't been riding very long, it covers that. So it's basically very customer focused on what you want, and a package is put together to suit your requirements, basically. So
Awesome.
and let's hope that's going from strength to strength. So yeah.
Where can they find out more about this then, Rob?
Right, all of the information regarding the track days and the Mercury Day is on the Castle Combe website.
Okay.
And I think it's also on the Bikes at Combe Facebook page. And of course, something else I didn't mention, in with our probably with a good half a dozen of our track days, we'll be doing ACU assessments with NG Road Racing. And if you're interested in going racing and want to get your racing license, you book that actually through NG Road Racing. And if you go to their website, ngroadracing.org, I think it is, all the information is there on the NG Racing Academy. And there we are.
Shout. And I'm just going to quickly put the Facebook page, Bikes at Combe, as a comment so that everybody, wherever you're watching, you'll have seen that come up. Facebook.com/Bikes at Combe.
Yeah.
Which actually,
so yeah, like I say, all being well, we got CRMC racing there later in the year now. I think it's in August, round about the 20th
it got
of August.
moved, didn't it? Sadly,
it did, so they can have spectators, all being well. And of course, we got the big Castle Combe Grand National.
Absolutely. Look forward to that. So go to castlecombecircuit.co.uk to be able to see all the dates. Mercury Motorcycle Training, say nice plug, Rob. So thank you for that. Taz Tracy says, I will contact in the next few days, has never realised that was available. Absolutely. Well, that's why Taz Tracy, definitely jump on the Bikes at Combe Facebook page, follow it, because like it and make sure you get notified, because it will keep you up to date with all of those things, as well as looking on the website. Absolutely loads of stuff and growing, I think is fair to say, which is what you were really pointing out there, Rob, is that it's growing what's being offered and being even more customer centric.
A lot of people don't realise, I know we advertise stuff, there's a lot goes on at Castle Combe to do with bikes that a lot of people don't realise. We get a few private training days. We got a chap, Eddie from Bath, who's well up in the IAM, and he runs a couple of days now and again. And they're basically using the track to improve your road riding skills, because you haven't got a bus coming the other way. You're not going to if something does happen,
normally anyway.
Well, we got a problem.
Occasionally,
we got a problem if we have. So there's a lot goes on up there that especially beyond the scenes, to make sure that we're running efficient track days and what have you. So
definitely jump on it then. Bikes at Combe, like it, make sure you get the notifications, and it'll keep you up to date. It's the easiest way, because of course we could advertise places and you potluck whether people hear it or read it, whereas of course that will keep you abreast of everything.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
there's a newsletter I think you can sign up to. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, Mr. Jones, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For joining us eventually, mate.
Yeah, I know. I should be on the phone to EE tomorrow because it's not very fast, is it?
Don't you? I told you not to worry, and I was right. It's absolutely fine. Listen, thank you so much for joining us, Rob Jones. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Brilliant.
I'm going to
Chris.
put you back to the green room. You wait there as well, mate. So thank you. That was episode 45. I've got a week off next week, I believe, and we're back the week after, and we've got a very special guest because unbelievably it's our 1 year anniversary from starting Combe TV. I don't think we've announced just yet who the special guest is going to be. We will do, and look forward to it. Tim Perry, awesome. Thanks, Chris and Rob. Hopefully see you at Combe soon. Dilly. Hope so, mate. Easter Monday. It's looking promising that we're going to be streaming that live because I know it's no spectators yet, but fingers crossed we're going to be doing that. But in 2 weeks' time, as I say, very special show for us. Oh, there we go. By the way, there's the mercurymotorcycletraining.co.uk/motorcycle-skills-school. So have a look at that and you'll be able to log on to that. Certainly Taz Tracy, I think that was of interest to you. But that's it. Thank you very much from my co-host, beautiful co-host, Rob Jones, Chris Ganley, amazing and very inspirational guest, and myself, Chris Dawes. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Stay safe. Cheers all. And I'll play you out with a little video to remind you. He says, where have I put it? There it is. With a little montage of the cars.